The story begins as we see an old man, who is an exorcist, leaving his necklace, which is spinning at great speed at home. He is seen with two ghosts standing beside him. The old man senses this and says that, "It is time for me to go now." It turns out that the ghosts standing beside him were his ancestors who have come to protect and guide his soul into the afterlife. Years later, we see a young male student named Cain in a train. He is seen talking with his mother on the phone as he wishes to meet her. His mother replies saying that she has to work outside of town to be able to help the family. Just then, a girl in the train suddenly screams saying,
"Hey, shut your mouth, detective. I am telling you this. My friend is not dead, but I instead missing."
Cain decides not to pay attention to the girl talking over her voice. The train suddenly gets chilly as we see the necklace of the old man in the first scene of the video, hanging on his arm. The necklace starts spinning greatly as Cain realizes this. The necklace is a divine artifact that is used for detecting ghosts. Cain slowly turns his head around to see where the ghost is. The train's lights suddenly goes off as the other girl is seen angry about the situation. The lights comes back on as Cain is suddenly shocked. A female ghost is seen standing by girl that was shouting in the train, whispering into her ear. To prevent the ghost from noticing that he can see her, Cain acts normal as he wishes for more people to get into the train. Just then, his schoolmates come inside and start to tease him.
"Hey, isn't that Cain, the guy that claims he can see ghosts?"
They said. Cain starts to get nervous that the ghost would hear this and suspect that he can really see ghosts. It's already too late as he grabs the ghost's attention. Cain tries to make conversation with his schoolmates. They realize this and call him a weirdo for seeing ghosts. The train stops as Cain's schoolmates leave the train. Cain is disappointed for them leaving, but becomes more disappointed when he sees that the girl that was shouting on top of her voice was also leaving. Cain feels a sharp pain at his back as he closes his eyes. He opens them to see the ghost in his face, which startles him. With this reaction, the ghost finally knows that Cain can see her. The ghost suddenly vanishes as Cain is relieved. On his way walking home, he feels the air being heavy as Cain runs to the house. He stands in front of his mirror as he washes his face. He lifts his head as he sees the female ghost sitting on his shoulders. "I know you can see me. I just want you to report the one who killed me to the police," she said. With no other option, Cain goes to the police station and reports this. The killer turns out to be the detective that the girl shouting on top of her voice was speaking to. He takes the female ghost to see her dead body as he leaves her. The female ghosts, seeing her dead body, couldn't help it but wail loud that most of the glasses in the vicinity shattered. After some days, Cain calls his uncle named Ben and pleads with him to stay over. Ben says that they can both see ghosts because of the God-given divine energy that has been given to them. The downside of this energy is that it attracts ghosts, which this activity will be stronger if Ben and Cain live together. Just then, Cain sees a young ghost staring at him and he ignores the ghost. Cain, who has made up his mind, transfers schools and sits in a bus. The bus gets to the town Ben is living in and a beautiful female named Angela smiles at Cain. Cain gets to Ben's place and sees the picture of his great-grandfather, which is the old man we saw at this story's beginning. Ben is agoraphobic, which means he is afraid to step out of his house. There was a time when a female ghost possessed him and walked into the female washroom. This occurrence and his ability to attract ghosts caused him to have the agoraphobic condition. After Cain settles in, he gets to class when the teacher introduces him. 3 bullies, the female named Sarah, and 2 males, Sam, who is the closest to Sarah, and Ken, who is part of their group. Sarah gets interested in Cain as she gives him a seat beside her. She starts to flirt with Cain as the rest of her group gets mad. Cain goes to a quiet place during lunch as he sees a blind woman with a ghost dog standing beside her. He draws the duo when the beautiful girl named Angela comes to him. It turns out that she is also a ghost as Cain just realizes this. He pretends not to see her, but Angela had already caught on. She sits beside him to accompany him for some time and leaves. Sam and Ken meet with Cain and ask him to stay away from Sarah. Sam picks up Cain and slams him to the ground. Cain, with a confused look, asks what was the reason for Sam to act this way. Sam reveals that he likes Sarah and Cain just took her away from him. Cain says that he wasn't interested in Sarah when Sam relaxes. It turns out that Cain and Sam went to the same school in their middle school years. During this time, a dead ghost girl came to Kane for help, asking him to reveal the cause of her death. He tries to tell the authorities, but they just label him as crazy and send him away. We see the ghost girl pointing at the murderer, but Kane pretends not to see her. It was only after a while before Kane showed the dead body of the girl. Back to the present, Sam warns Kane and leaves. In a cabin, a dog is killed. We see the picture of a female bully named Steph on the dead dog's collar. Steph is seen walking on the road as she feels something following her. She turns her head to see blood on the ground, and she gets closer. A hand holds her shoulder as she is startled. It turns out to be Sarah and their friend named Cindy. They forget about the blood on the ground and leave. Steph is seen in the kitchen. Her door slams as she turns her head. She sees a bag hanging on the ceiling in the house. She gets close as the bag rips open and spills blood on her. She picks up a knife for defense, and a figure wearing a mask approaches her. It turns out to be a ghost named Kay. Steph sends a text to Sarah when the door closes behind her. Kane is seen in the classroom. He gets scared when a bloody hand hits the classroom window. Kane tells this to his uncle, and Ben says that it's because the ghost has a split personality. Kane tells Angela that he regrets not helping the young ghost that came to him when he was also young. He and Angela go to the young girl's house, and Kane apologizes to the father of the girl. The father forgives Kane. He sees the young girl's ghost as she smiles, waving at him. Kane sits with Angela when she gets up running, saying that Kay is approaching them. Cindy and her friend go to the school at midnight to take their phone. Cindy's friend sleeps on the table when she is stabbed by the ghost Kay. Cindy sees this and also sends Sarah a text. Cindy is hit on the head with a stick as she collapses. The following day, Kane asks the name of Kay from his mates. Sarah asks them not to talk about Kay, and they stop. Sarah is also scared because of the text sent by Cindy. Kane asks Angela about the story about Sarah, and it turns out that Sam and Sarah bullied her to death. Sam and Sarah are on their way home when Kane confronts them, saying that the ghost of Kay will come for them. Kane talks about everything with Ben. Kane gets a text from Sarah asking him to come to a cabin. Sarah and Sam enter the cabin as the lights goes off. Ben gives their great-grandfather's dagger for exorcising spirits to Kane. The face of Kay shows as Sarah starts to scream. She holds on to Sam as we see Sam already dead. Minutes later, Kane goes inside to see the corpses of all the bullies, including Sarah and Sam. He opens a closet and sees the dead body of Kay. He removes the mask as he sees the dead body of Kay to be the same person as Angela. A flashback shows that Angela reported the bullying activities of Sarah to the teachers. Sarah found out and started to bully Angela, resulting in forcing her to wear a mask. Angela couldn't stand the bullying and committed suicide. After her death, her personalities split into two. The one who has fun with Kane, and the other who still harbors the resentment of the bullies. Angela's father is possessed by Kay, using him to physically do the killings. Kane realizes that Kay wants to kill all the students in her classroom. Kane calls Ben and pleads with him to exorcise the spirit of Angela. Kay posses as a teacher and cuts off the school's power supply. Kane and Angela gets there and pleads with Kay to stop. Kay overpowers Angela as she possesses another student. Using the chain of his great-grandfather, Kane finds Kay among the students. Kay turns into Angela, but it turns out to be a trick. Just then, Ben stabs Angela's dead body, completing the ritual. At the same time, Kane also uses the dagger to stab Kay's stomach, and her spirit leaves the mortal realm. Years later, we see Kane as a teacher in the same school. He is introduced to the class as a ghost student stands up, walking towards him, and the movie ends. This is Watched Film Recaps. Stay safe.